Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm Devon and today I'm going to share with you how I make my red beans and rice. Now this is a ham bone that I have frozen with little pieces of ham that came off of a spiral cut smoked ham that we had during the holiday. And so I just went on and I put it in a freezer bag and I froze it. And so we're going to use that to make our red beans and rice. So I defrosted our ham bone that we had and cut up the little extra pieces that was also with the ham. We have 1 pound of small red beans that I have soaked overnight. We also have our seasonings. We have some salt and pepper, and that's going to be to taste if we end up needing it. Some Cajun seasoning, paprika, some cayenne, some bay leaves. We have our celery, onion, and garlic. And we also have some thyme as well. And so these are all the spices that we're going to use to make some delicious red beans and rice using that ham bone from the holidays. This is a great way to use ham. You ready? Let's get started. So guys, in the description box below, I'm going to share with you all the ingredients as well as some alternatives. If you don't have the Cajun seasoning that I'm going to be using, I'm going to give you some alternatives that you can use in lieu of that seasoning. But most importantly, besides having the ingredients, I'm going to share with you and show you how all those ingredients come together to make an excellent dish of red beans and rice. So first, what we're going to do is you can use a yellow onion or a white onion, and I've chosen to use a white onion. You want to chop up a medium-sized white onion. Mine was really large, so I didn't use the full white onion, but you're going to need about a cup of small chopped white onions, and you want to chop those onions kind of finely, about the size, say like a kernel of corn. Okay, you do not want big pieces of onion, so you want to kind of chop them kind of small. Likewise with my celery, we're using 2.5 celery stalks. My one stalk was kind of small, so you want to use anywhere from 2 to 3 celery stalks, and we're also going to chop those small, like about the size of a kernel of corn as well, about a piece of corn. And so we're going to just go on and chop those. In addition to the celery and the onion, you can also use bell pepper. I'm not using bell pepper today in my recipe. I didn't have any on hand, and so I'm just opting not to use bell pepper today. However, you can also use 1 green bell pepper with the inside, with that inside rib removed and the seeds removed from the bell pepper, and also chop those in small pieces as well. Okay, and that's your trinity right there. And so next what we're going to do is we're going to chop up some garlic, and we're going to be using 4 cloves of garlic, and we're going to chop those up nice and fine as well. So once we have the garlic, our celery, and our onion, we're going to go on and start building our base for our red beans and rice. So in my nice heavy bottom pot, you want to put 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Now to that, once it's nice and the oil has heated a bit, I added in the onion and the celery together all at once. And hey, if you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you're a returner, welcome back. And I am truly grateful for all my wonderful subscribers, the ones who have been with me as I am building my channel, and all the brand new ones. I appreciate your likes, your shares, your subscribes, and your wonderful positive comments. I just feel so truly grateful to be building such a channel with some wonderful, awesome subscribers as yourself. So if you have not subscribed, I invite you to hit that subscribe button. And now once you're sauteing, you want it to look like this. Celery and onion, you want it to get kind of translucent. Once you get to that point, we're going to go on and add in that garlic that we minced as well. And just give it a stir. You're going to stir and let your garlic kind of saute with your celery and your onion for about 1 to 2 minutes. Now, once we do that and it's kind of sauteed, basically for about 1 to 2 minutes, you've done that, we're going to add our spices in right inside of our pot, okay? So next we're going to put in those seasonings, and I'm putting in 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, and then to that we're also going to add some paprika. And I'm going to start off with 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. You can definitely add a little bit more paprika to your taste, but I always start off with at least 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. And then next we're going to put in that Cajun seasoning. I love using this Cajun seasoning. It makes these beans come out so good, y'all. And I also use it for my shrimp boil. And in the description box below, I'll have a link to my video on my shrimp boil if you haven't seen that yet. So we put that half a teaspoon of the Cajun seasoning, and then we're also going to put our bay leaves. Now, if you have big bay leaves or your bay leaves are kind of large, you can use 2, but mine were kind of small, so I'm using 3 bay leaves. So anywhere from 2 to 3 bay leaves, kind of depending on how big or how small your bay leaves are. Now, once you do that, you want to mix everything around just like I did there, because we want those seasoning and spices to really start to give off all of their essence, their oils, their aroma. We don't want to burn our spices, so my flame right now is on a low heat. We just want to really warm through those spices. And I'll also share with you, as I'm doing the recipe here, a list of spices that you can use in lieu of the Cajun seasoning if you don't have it or if you can't find it in your grocery store. So we've put our ham bone in there, and now we're going to also add our red beans, and those are small red beans that we had soaked overnight. And so we're adding our ham and our red beans. Now, if you don't have a ham bone, like I have this leftover spiral ham, you can also use some sausage. You can also use some smoked sausage, 1 pound of smoked sausage, as well as you want to use a ham hock. You definitely want to use that nice smoked ham hock, and you just need 1 of them. So nice smoked ham hock added to your pot really is going to give such wonderful flavor to your beans as it is cooking, okay? Now, I also added in some water, and I put in 8 cups of water, okay? So I put just about 6 cups in. I'm going to add a little bit more water, and that ends up being 8 cups of water, okay? And so you just want to go in and cover that like that. Now, my ham bone is sticking up a little bit. Don't worry about that at all, because the ham is already cooked through and through. It was a nice smoked ham we had. But as it cooks and boils, I'm just going to be moving it around and rotating it in our pot. And of course, we're also going to put the top on our pot as well, okay? And so you want to put the top on your pot. Your beans are going to cook anywhere from 1.5 hours to 2 hours until they are nice and soft and creamy, okay? So our beans right now have been cooking for that first half an hour. They are boiling up so nicely. Everything is coming along really good, and I am just looking at everything just to see. You want to also make sure that nothing happens to be sticking to our bottom of our pot. We do not want that. So just kind of move everything around just like that. Now, those spices that I was talking about earlier, if you don't have the Cajun seasoning, what you would use then is a couple of teaspoons of paprika, and you'd also use some oregano, just about a teaspoon of oregano. You'd use still your thyme, and you'd still use that 1 teaspoon of thyme, and you'd also use some onion powder as well as some garlic powder, and also a little bit of cayenne. But in the description box below, I'm going to have those ingredients as well in lieu of that Cajun seasoning, okay? So our beans have been cooking for a while. I'm going to go on and taste and see how that nice broth from the cooking of the beans is coming. The seasoning is perfect, y'all. We do not need to add any additional salt or any additional pepper. The only thing that we could add is some cayenne. If we wanted to just give it a little bit more of a kick, you can add a little bit of cayenne, and that is just going to be to your taste. So our beans have continued to cook. They are doing so good, y'all. And now we're going to taste our beans for their doneness, okay? And it's been about 1.5 hours that our beans have cooked. This is what it looks like. And let's see if our beans are nice and if they're tender. Our beans, they're tasting tender, y'all. There's just a little bit still of a give to our beans. So we're going to let our beans cook for about 20 to 30 minutes more. And because they've still got just like a tiny little bit of bite to them, and because our water has boiled down, it is totally okay to add a little bit more water to your pot if your water starts to go low. and I added in 1 additional cup of water, okay? And that's only if your water is going down low and your beans still need a little bit more time to cook. You want to make sure that your beans don't totally dry out on you and they still have plenty of water to continue to boil. Well, let's see now. It's been that additional 30 minutes. Our water has also started to go down low, but our beans look nice and cooked. More meat has continued to come off of that nice ham bone. It looks so good, nice and creamy. But this is what you want to do. Once your beans at this point, and you know they're nice and soft, we're going to go on and give a nice creaminess to our beans. Now this is how I do that. We're going to go on, and first what we want to do though is we want to take out the bay leaves before we do this. So you want to look around in your pot and go on and take out your bay leaves. Now this next step that I'm going to do is totally optional, but I like to do it just to enrich just that creamy texture of my beans, because our beans are totally done and ready. But this last step right here, this is what I like to do. I like to use my potato masher and just kind of make my beans just a little bit creamier just by mashing around several times, just like that. And so our beans are ready. I'm going to plate us up some, and we are going to see how our red beans and rice came out. Well, I have put some steamed rice. I've garnished it with some parsley flakes, some fresh parsley that I had there, and also a little bit of some green onion that I have cut up. That's that little bit right there on top. And we're going to get our bite ready. They are nice and creamy. Our beans smell so good. They look so good. This meal right here, because you got all those nice chunks of that ham in there. But this right here, y'all, that's your bite. You ready? Go ahead. That bite right there, that's for y'all. Okay, let me give it a try. See how we did. Oh my goodness, y'all. These beans, these red beans and rice, y'all. It is so good. It is creamy. The seasonings are perfect. It is a great way to use that leftover ham bone, especially we always say, well, what are we going to do if we have that leftover bone that we had from Thanksgiving or Christmas? You put in that freezer bag and you freeze it, and you have yourself a nice meal for your family. Well, that is it for me today, y'all. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the bell notification so you get notified anytime I upload a video. Well, remember, it's always good when Devon is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.